Alright, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Out of the Wilderness 2001. Just by the title, I hated this movie. It's rated PG. Another David Carradine television movie from 2001. How many movies did David Carradine do in 2001, for Christ's sakes? He must have done like 50 of them. So, unfortunately, or fortunately, flip a coin. I'm a David Carradine completist. I'm checking out every single David Carradine related DVD or instant queue related to David Carradine on Netflix, and this movie sucks really bad. You could tell the people behind this movie have some kind of animal rights, environmentalist type of agenda. It's got the feel of a TV movie, and it's a ripoff on The Black Horse. I think that's the name of the movie. The only difference being that the little girl who injures herself with the animal is not like a teenage juvenile delinquent. She's just an annoying prepubescent blonde kid. Oh man, I couldn't relate to any of the characters in this movie. Like most of the David Carradine movies from 2001, I just couldn't get into this movie. I wish they would have friggin' shot the bird, saved a lot of mayhem and trouble. The judge contradicts himself at the end, and it just didn't make any sense. I mean, constitutional rights for a friggin' raven? How stupid is that? And the judge bought it too. Not so much the constitutional argument, but more like the bonding between the raven and the annoying blonde kid. So this takes place supposedly in Anchorage, Alaska, I guess. Which of course is like an environmentalist paradise. You just gotta watch out for the grizzly bears. You ever seen Grizzly Man? This movie reminds me of Grizzly Man because it kind of romanticizes the whole environmentalist animal rights movement, which I hate and loathe. I've always felt that way ever since my parents tried to drag me into like these nature hiking trails, like Point Reyes, for example. I don't know. I think I enjoyed the exercise of walking up and down or running up and down the steps more than the nature itself. But now that I'm older, I do enjoy hiking, just to kind of get at there, relax and stuff. Check out the wonders that God made. Which is not to say that I'm a nature lover or an environmentalist or an animal rights activist by any stretch of the imagination. But this movie annoyed me. David Carradine plays the animal rights lawyer arguing in front of the Department of Interior. It's confusing because the Department of Wildlife, Fish and Game, which is an entirely separate organization from the Department of Interior, as far as I know. I could be wrong, but they're the ones who want to get rid of this bird this raven that's wreaking havoc and destruction all over the place. He's like Murder from Tokyo. They call him Black Feather, and there's actually a Black Feather movie from 1995. One of the actresses was in it, so I don't know how those are related, but supposedly, according to this movie, ravens have intelligence on par with human beings. They're very loyal and clever at the same time, which I didn't know. I always thought ravens as being symbols of death, such as the movie The Raven, or the poem The Raven by Edgar Allan Poe. Was there an actual movie? Maybe it was just a vignette, a part of a movie. I don't remember, but I seem to recall a movie called The Raven. I don't know. I'm getting old. My memory's bad, but in any case, so this couple is moving up to Grizzly Land up in Anchorage, Alaska, far away from town, almost like paradise compared to Chico, I guess, or Magalia compared to Chico. So they're out in the middle of nowhere. They're trying to build like this wildlife tour log cabin, but the husband is completely incompetent. He likes to blame other people, sort of like my ex-wife, and he's an alcoholic, I guess. I guess he's a stepfather. I'm not sure of the blonde girl, but he's always like ordering her around, and he's a terrible father. Which also reminds me of my ex-wife. The way she treats my son. But in any case, he's like chainsawing down a tree so he can build a log cabin for one of his environmentalist clients who wants to go on a wilderness field trip with a bunch of llamas or something. There are a lot of llamas in this movie. I thought llamas were more prevalent in Peru. I didn't know they were prevalent in Alaska. So he's got llamas walking around. I'm not sure what that's all about. That wasn't clearly explained in the movie. And so he's chainsawing down this tree, and all of a sudden the little girl runs while the tree's about to fall, runs up to him and says, no, don't chop it down. There's a raven nest in there. How she found out there was a raven nest high up in the tree is another one of those unexplained things. But of course the tree falls on top of her, so she's like paralyzed. And she's recounting this story in the Department of Interior hearing room, so to speak. It's more like a kangaroo court or a circus, as the prosecuting attorney calls it. I guess they're prosecuting the Black Raven for causing mayhem and disturbing the peace or whatever. So anyway, as she's recounting the story, she becomes paralyzed. The husband, stepfather, whatever, the jerk, he's he starts to panic. He like drives his truck off the cliff, and then he jumps out on the highway, starts waving his arms like this. There are a bunch of cool explosions in this movie, by the way, but it still didn't save the movie. So he's waving his arms like this, and just so happens that his wife is driving down the highway. So he's got a chainsaw on the back of his other truck that she's driving. He chainsaws her out. It's unclear what happens after that. I guess she goes to the hospital, but we don't really see that part. And then, of course, dude can't afford to pay for the hospital bills. It's probably thousands of dollars a day, I'm guessing. I don't know. Hospitals pretty expensive in the United States, but not sure about Alaska. But here in California, they're expensive. So he's kind of bummed. He's hating his daughter for racking up all this, or his stepdaughter, or whatever she is. He's hating her for racking up all these bills, and she can't help him out to help his business or whatever. So he's just like a total jerk to her. And meanwhile, the Raven is saved. So she's taking care of the baby Raven who can't fly, the black feather or whatever. She takes Black Feather outside. Black Feather's like roaming around, and then a fox comes to chomp on it or whatever. She manages to scare the fox away, but she falls in the process, injures herself even more. So she goes back to the hospital eventually over the protest of the father, who doesn't even want to take her there because of the exorbitant cost. And then it becomes winter time, deep snow, whatever, time for bear hibernation, whatever. And so dude is like drinking heavily. He decides to go out and shoot some caribou for food or whatever. Yeah, just so that the family has food. And he's being terrorized by this Raven. Like, the Raven picks up a cigarette, burns down his shed or his garage. The dude smokes and drinks. He's just a total a-hole. And then the Raven steals his truck keys. The Raven likes shiny things, so he's collecting like gold nuggets and sticking them in the bottom of the tree. And then dude's always getting into accidents. He puts his he drives his jet ski over the cliff or something. He's like stuck in the snow, and then the Raven comes to grab his jet ski key or whatever that thing is, because he failed to shoot a caribou, so he's like kicking the thing, and then he goes off the cliff for no apparent reason. He's just laying there the whole time. So the Raven picks up his jet ski key, takes it over to his family. Then they panic and they start taking out the dog sled. Um, the Raven kind of guides them there because the tracks don't really follow all the way to where he is. So on the way back, he notices that his silverware are stuck in this tree. Um, so for no apparent reason, the wife says, "Well, I'm going to chainsaw this tree," and they find like $200,000-$300,000 worth of gold nuggets there. So they try to get mining rights, and they're arguing the case in front of the judge. They even bring the Black Raven there. So I don't know. I just hated this flick. It's not my cup of tea. This kind of stuff. David Carradine, even the David Carradine lawyer guy was annoying. He looks like he's all dressed up, kind of weird, and I don't know. He makes stupid jokes about laptops and stuff. So there's that. I just hated this movie. Skip it. Can't recommend it. Can't say highly recommended. Can't say check it out. But I can say skip it. Terrible movie. 1 out of 5 stars. And that's the end of my review. Laters.